Adolf Hitler's rise to power, a dark path to dictatorship. Adolf Hitler's rise to power in Germany during the early 20th century is one of the most notorious and chilling chapters in human history. The man who would become the dictator of Nazi Germany and orchestrate the Holocaust started as a relatively obscure figure but ascended to become one of the most powerful and destructive leaders the world has ever seen. This essay will provide a comprehensive examination of Adolf Hitler's rise to power, exploring the historical context, the key events and factors that facilitated his ascent, and the consequences of his rule. 1. Post-World War I Germany. The aftermath of World War I left Germany in a state of profound turmoil and humiliation. The Treaty of Versailles in 1919 imposed harsh penalties on Germany, including territorial losses, disarmament, and heavy reparations. The economic consequences of the war and the Great Depression that followed created widespread suffering and discontent among the German population. 2. Political instability. Germany's political landscape in the aftermath of World War I was characterized by instability and fragmentation. The Weimar Republic, established in 1919 as a democratic government, faced numerous challenges, including political extremism, economic crises, and social unrest. The Republic's legitimacy was questioned, and political parties across the spectrum struggled to form stable coalitions. Hitler's early life and political awakening. 1. Adolf Hitler's background. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, Austria-Hungary, now Austria. His early life was marked by hardship, as he faced poverty, family tragedies, and a strained relationship with his father. Hitler showed an early interest in art but was twice rejected from the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. 2. Entry into politics. After World War I, Hitler moved to Munich, Germany, and joined the German Workers' Party, DEP, a nationalist and anti-Semitic political group. He quickly rose through the ranks of the party, and in 1920, the party was renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, NSDAP, commonly known as the Nazi Party. Hitler became the party's leading figure and orator. Key factors in Hitler's rise. 1. Charismatic leadership. One of Hitler's most potent assets was his charisma and oratory skills. He had an uncanny ability to captivate audiences with his speeches, which were filled with passionate nationalism, anti-Semitism, and promises of a brighter future for Germany. His charismatic presence drew people to his cause and contributed to his popularity. 2. Exploitation of discontent. Hitler tapped into the deep-seated discontent and resentment that existed in post-war Germany. He channeled the anger over the harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles, economic hardships, and the perceived betrayal of the government into a powerful political movement. 3. Political strategy. Hitler and the Nazi Party employed a combination of propaganda, rallies, and street violence to gain support and intimidate opponents. The use of symbols, such as the swastika, and the militarization of the SA, Sturmabteilung, and later the SS, Schutzstaffel, helped create a powerful and intimidating image. 4. Economic turmoil. The Great Depression of the 1930s created fertile ground for extremist political movements. As Germany's economy crumbled and unemployment soared, many Germans turned to radical parties, including the Nazis, in search of solutions to their economic woes. Key events in Hitler's rise. 1. The Beer Hall Putsch, 1923. In November 1923, Hitler and the Nazis attempted to overthrow the Weimar government in what became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. The coup failed, and Hitler was arrested and sentenced to prison. During his incarceration, he wrote Mein Kampf, an autobiographical and ideological manifesto outlining his vision for Germany's future. 2. Legal path to power. After his release from prison in 1924, Hitler shifted his strategy from violent insurrection to achieving power through legal means. The Nazis pursued electoral politics, gaining seats in the Reichstag, German parliament, and forming alliances with other conservative parties. 3. Appointed Chancellor, 1933. In the elections of 1932, the Nazi Party emerged as the largest party in the Reichstag. President Paul von Hindenburg, fearing the rise of communism and seeking to appease conservative elites, appointed Hitler as Chancellor of Germany on January 30, 1933. This marked the beginning of Hitler's consolidation of power. 4. The Reichstag Fire, 1933. The Reichstag fire in February 1933 provided Hitler with a pretext to push through the Reichstag fire decree, which suspended civil liberties and allowed for the suppression of political opposition. This marked a significant step in the erosion of democracy and the consolidation of Nazi control. 5. Enabling Act, 1933. In March 1933, Hitler and the Nazi Party passed the Enabling Act, which granted Hitler sweeping powers to enact laws without the Reichstag's approval. This effectively ended parliamentary democracy in Germany and allowed Hitler to rule by decree. Hitler's consolidation of power. 1. The Night of the Long Knives, 1934. In June 1934, Hitler ordered the purge of the SA leadership and other potential rivals in what became known as the Night of the Long Knives. This ruthless act eliminated internal opposition and solidified Hitler's control over the Nazi Party and the government. 2. Hindenburg's death, 1934. Upon President Hindenburg's death in August 1934, Hitler combined the roles of President and Chancellor, declaring himself Führer und Reichskanzler, leader and chancellor. This move concentrated executive power in his hands. Consequences of Hitler's rule. 1. Totalitarian regime. Under Hitler's rule, Germany transformed into a totalitarian state. The Nazi regime exerted control over every aspect of life, from politics and the economy to culture and education. Dissent was ruthlessly suppressed, and opposition parties and organizations were banned. 2. Anti-Semitic policies. Hitler's virulent antisemitism led to the implementation of increasingly oppressive policies against Jews. The Nuremberg Laws, 1935, stripped Jews of their citizenship and civil rights, while the Kristallnacht, Night of Broken Glass, in 1938 marked a violent escalation of anti-Jewish violence. 3. Expansionist ambitions. Hitler's foreign policy was marked by territorial expansion and militarization. He reoccupied the Rhineland, 1936, annexed Austria, Anschluss, 1938, and demanded the Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia at the Munich Conference, 1938. His aggressive ambitions ultimately led to the outbreak of World War II in 1939. 4. The Holocaust. One of the most heinous crimes in history, the Holocaust, occurred during Hitler's rule. The systematic genocide of approximately 6 million Jews, along with other minority groups and political dissidents, is a dark stain on humanity's conscience. Adolf Hitler's rise to power was a dark and tragic chapter in the annals of human history. His charismatic leadership, exploitation of discontent, and manipulation of political processes allowed him to ascend to the highest echelons of power in Germany. The consequences of his rule were catastrophic, leading to widespread suffering, war, and the genocide of millions. Hitler's reign serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of extremism, intolerance, and the erosion of democratic institutions. The lessons learned from his rise to power continue to inform efforts to safeguard democracy and human rights in the modern world.